Hi, this is Kathy Atkinson. I'm the owner of Mind, Body, and Soul, and we're here for the Monday evening mini class. Tonight's mini class is going to be on foot zone therapy and the lymphatic system. So for those of you who aren't familiar with foot zone therapy, and I'm going to back up again, I do this every time. I try to keep these mini classes kind of brief. So if you have any questions, put them in the comments. And then on Friday, visit my website. I'll have a Q&A there. I'll have a recording of the video. I'll answer all your questions, and I'll have some handouts for you too. Okay, so tonight's mini class is on foot zone therapy and the lymphatic system. For those of you who aren't familiar with foot zone therapy is an advanced form of reflexology. There are signals on your feet that correspond to every body system, organ, and part. When I stimulate those signals on your feet, it sends a message to your brain to tell that part of the body to balance, to harmonize, to do what it's supposed to do. The body is designed to heal itself. Sometimes we just need to support the body to allow it to heal. So the signals on the left foot correspond to the left side of the body. The signals on the right foot correspond to the right side of the body. And when we stimulate those signals, it helps to harmonize the energy pathways that lead to the different parts of the body. So I want to talk a little bit about the lymphatic system, and then I'm going to show you a treatment on the feet that you can do yourself at home to help support your lymphatic system. So let's start with circulation. We have arteries that leave the heart. Okay, arteries turn into arterioles, okay, which are smaller, and there's a bunch of them going off the artery, right, that turn into capillaries, okay, and they're sending oxygenated blood, but not just with oxygen. The blood has nutrients, it has electrolytes, it has vitamins, minerals, all sorts of beneficial, just to keep the body running, okay? So we've got these arteries then that go to arterioles that then go to capillaries. And then they nourish the cells that go into interstitial space. They nourish the cells. And then you've got capillaries on this end that go into venules and they go into veins. Okay, veins are larger ones. And then they go back to the heart where they're reoxygenated and they get more nutrients. Okay, sometimes as that blood is flowing through, and you've got this closed loop system, right? Sometimes as that blood is going through the arteries to the arterioles to the capillaries, and before it goes to the capillaries on the other side to come back, some of it, it leaks out. Sometimes intentionally, sometimes some of it just leaks out, but it leaks out to bathe the interstitial cells, the interstitial tissue, to provide it with nourishment. And so if there wasn't a way for that, primarily it's blood plasma that leaks out, but if there wasn't a way for that to be reabsorbed, there's about 3 liters a day that gets leaked out into interstitial fluid. And if there wasn't a way for that to be reabsorbed, we'd end up with edema. We'd end up pretty much swelling all over. So blending through all these capillaries, you're also going to find lymphatic vessels, lymph vessels, okay, going through the whole body. The lymphatic system pretty much runs parallel to the circulatory system. So wherever you're going to have a vein or an artery, you're also going to have lymphatic tissue, or lymphatic vessels. Thank you. Lymphatic vessels. Okay. And the purpose of the lymphatic vessels is to pick up that interstitial fluid, so to prevent edema, and carry it back into the circulatory system. Now, the interesting thing is that on the way, okay, so it's picking up this interstitial fluid, on the way to dumping it back into the circulatory system, it's going to clean it. It gives it the lymphatic system, which is part of our immune response. It gives the lymphatic system a good opportunity just to kind of test and see what's going on in the blood, what's going on in the body, okay? So along the way, so you've got the lymph vessels that are going through, picking up the interstitial fluid that's leaked out into the interstitial tissue and interstitial space, right? Picks it up and it goes through to lymph nodes. okay? And then the lymph nodes, that's where it kind of does its cleaning, and there's a lot of immune, what's the word I'm looking for? The body's immune system, immune responses, a lot of them are housed in the lymphatic, or the lymph nodes, okay? Now we've got lymph node clusters located throughout the body. And I've got a picture here to kind of show you that. And I'll put this on my website too, hopefully you guys can see this. Okay, there we go. So you've got some lymph node clusters right here. Okay, I'm going backwards. Right here at the neck, you've got some lymph node clusters here. You've got so these are the thoracic, or they call it cervical here, but thoracic lymph node clusters. You've got the axillary lymph node clusters that are here in the armpit. So basically every place that something attaches to the trunk, you're going to have a cluster of lymph nodes. So where the neck attaches to the trunk, you're going to have a cluster of lymph nodes. Where the arms attach to the trunk, you're going to have a cluster of lymph nodes. Where the legs attach to the trunk, you're going to have a cluster of lymph nodes. Those are called the inguinal lymph nodes, okay? So in foot zone therapy, we have a way to stimulate those lymph node clusters, okay? And I'm going to talk to you about that in a minute, but I'm going to back up and just finish out that cycle. So you've got the lymphatic system that's running parallel to the circulatory system. As that plasma leaks out into the interstitial space to feed and nourish the tissue, then the lymphatic system picks it up, carries it back to the lymph node clusters where it gets cleaned. It gets kind of tested to see, okay, is there anything here that we don't want in our body? If there is, then there's some part of our immune system that's able to, at that time, to kind of take care of it, but it also signals the rest of the body's immune response, okay? And then it takes it back and dumps it back into the circulatory system. So the right lymphatic duct drains from the upper right part of the body, the right side of the head, and the right arm, and dumps it back into the internal jugular vein, okay? The larger thoracic duct drains everything else, the lower part of the right side and all of the left side, and dumps it back into the left subclavian vein, okay? So it goes back into the circulatory system. So in foot zone therapy, we want to make sure that these lymph node clusters are working the way that we want them to, okay? So there's a way that we can stimulate the signal to send a message to the brain to tell that part of the body to do what it's supposed to do. And we do that with what we call a drill on the right signals. So first I want to show you what a drill looks like, okay? This is a drill. It can be clockwise going into the center. It can be counterclockwise going into the center. It can start in the center and go clockwise out. It can start in the center and go clockwise or counterclockwise out. Doesn't matter, okay? And you can do these drills different sizes depending on the signal, okay? For the lymph drains, okay, they're lymph node clusters in anatomy and physiology, but in foot zone therapy, we call them lymph drains, okay? For the lymph drains, the location for those signals is right here between, for the first one, is right here between your big toe and your second toe, in between these two tendons, okay? I'm going to show you here as well. This is the right foot. So right here is where one of those lymph drain signals is located. Okay, so you can go and drill that spot right there on your own foot. Okay, you can use your thumb. You can use your finger if you want. Usually when I'm zoning somebody, I'm going to use my thumb. Okay. The other one, and you can do it on both feet. Usually we'll do one foot first and then the other, but for the sake of demonstration, I'm going to just show you here on the right foot, this is where it's located. On the left foot, this is where it's located. Here in the drawing, okay, here in the drawing, I'm doing this backwards. Here's where it's located, and here's where it's located, okay? So that's for the thoracic, or here in this one they called it the cervical, okay? That's for the cervical lymph node clusters where the neck attaches to the trunk, okay? We've also got the axillary lymph node clusters, okay, that are here underneath the arms, and these are going to be located between your pinky toe and the ring toe. Is that the ring toe? Pinky ring. Yep, that's ring. Okay, so you right there between those two tendons, you can drill there and there. Okay, I'll show you on the feet here. Okay, that's going to be right about there and right about there. Okay, and that's going to stimulate the signal for these axillary lymph node clusters. Okay, then you've got, remember, we've got also the inguinal lymph node clusters right here, and that's where the legs attach to the trunk. Okay, right there in that crease, you'll sometimes those glands swell a little bit. That signal location is right here. If this is your ankle, okay, right here is where that's going to be located. And on the feet, you'll feel a little pocket here. Okay, if you try and rub that spot, you'll feel a little pocket here. And then here's for the other foot. Okay, do you see that? Can you feel it? If you're trying it yourself, try and feel it. See if you can feel those clusters. I'm going to show you now all three on one foot. Okay, so this is my right foot. I'm going to drill here, here, and here. Can you see that? Here, here, and here. Doesn't really matter the order. When I'm zoning somebody, it's easier for me to do 1, 2, 3. Let me see, right foot. So here, here, and here. Okay, let's show you the left foot. Left foot, drilling here, and then drilling right there. Okay, and then on the left foot, drilling here, here, and here. And that's going to stimulate those lymph node clusters to send a message to the brain to tell them to function the way they're supposed to function, to balance, to harmonize. This is again what the drill looks like. It can be clockwise coming in, counterclockwise coming in. You can start in the middle and go clockwise going out, counterclockwise going out, doesn't matter. Size, this is probably the size of a dime because you're going to be between those two tendons. This one's maybe the size of an eraser head, you know. This one here is probably about the size of a dime as well, maybe a nickel, maybe a little bit bigger, but about the size of a dime. Okay, so those are where the signals are located. Now I want to give you some suggestions for self-help. If you're stimulating these signals and they're hard or they're painful, that's an indication that the signal is blocked. And so there are things that you can do to support your lymphatic system. One of the most important things you're going to want to do is make sure you're getting hydrated. Plenty of water to keep the lymphatic system flowing, keeping it preventing it from becoming viscous. Okay, doctors will tell you that the recommended amount is half your weight in ounces a day of water. Of course, in the summertime, if you're out working in the fields or you're out working in the yard, you might want to have more than half your weight in ounces. But what that means is if I weigh 140 pounds, I'm going to want to have 70 ounces of water a day. A good way to do that is find one container that holds 70 ounces or a container that holds 35. If it's 70 ounces, fill it up in the morning, and by the time you go to bed at night, it should be empty. I like to tell my clients, make sure you're sipping your water. You're not chugging it every hour. Oh, I'm drinking a 12-ounce bottle of water every hour on the hour. You want to sip your water throughout the day. The body regulates the amount of water that it has in the bloodstream. And if you chug a whole bunch, it recognizes, oh, there's more water than what is usually there, than what we need or what we can use. And so it signals elimination. When you eliminate your water, you also eliminate electrolytes, which allows the body to use the water that you consume. So when you sip it throughout the day, your body can then use the water that you're drinking. So there are actually people who have told me, oh, I drink 2 gallons of water a day. How can I be dehydrated? Well, you're drinking water the wrong way. Okay, you're chugging it rather than sipping it. Okay, so getting plenty of water is one way to support your lymphatic system. Another way to support the lymphatic system is through movement. The lymphatic system has flaps. There isn't really a pump for the lymphatic system, so movement helps it. Just the movement of muscles will help move it. But also one really easy way is through deep breathing. Deep breathing actually pushes lymph through the body better than movement does. Okay, so making sure you're deep breathing. Everyone wants a big chest and a small belly, but when you're doing your deep breathing, forget about that and make sure you're taking those great big belly breaths. Okay, expand your lungs. Keep your shoulders down and expand the lungs when you're breathing. Another thing that's really helpful for the lymphatic system is a mini tramp. Some people will call them a rebounder, but you bounce on the mini tramp and without your feet leaving the trampoline. So you're just getting that movement. If you don't have a trampoline, you can do it in the chair. It's not as easy, but you can do it in the chair. You can also do it on one of those exercise balls, okay? But with the trampoline, you're getting the full body. So you're working on the lymphatic system from head to toe. That's another great way of supporting the lymphatic system. Dry body brushing is also a really great way. You take a natural bristle brush, and before you get in the shower with dry skin, you start brushing toward those lymph drains, those lymph node clusters that we talked about, right? And just start taking the brush and just brushing your skin in a movement toward those and then toward the heart too. So dry body brushing is also another great way. If you find that no matter what you do, you still are struggling with your lymphatic system, or maybe you're dealing with, sometimes when you get a cold, your lymphatic system just is really sluggish. There are 2 herbal tinctures that I really find helpful with the lymphatic system. One is called LT, which stands for lymph tonic, okay? But you always want to take that with some kind of infection fighting formula, and so I usually will use IF, which stands for infection fighter, okay? So some simple ways that you can support your lymphatic system by stimulating those signals on the feet for the different lymph node clusters, the thoracic, the axillary, and the inguinal. Deep breathing, plenty of hydration. Oh, I forgot one other thing too that's really important for supporting the lymphatic system, and that's getting healthy fats. The lymphatic system helps transport fats into the circulatory system. So when you eat and digest fats, the small chain and medium and most of the medium chain can be absorbed directly into the bloodstream. Long chain fatty acids can't. They get absorbed, they get put into the bloodstream through the lymphatic system. So making sure you're eating healthy fats is also a really important way of supporting the lymphatic system. So getting plenty of water, so proper hydration, eating good fats, deep breathing, movement, the mini tramp or rebounder, and then also the dry body brushing, and then herbal tinctures are some great self-help things that you can do to support your lymphatic system. So if you have any questions about the lymphatic system, about these foot zoning signals, about foot zone therapy in general, please just put them in the comments. And then on Friday, head to my website. My website is mindbodyandsoulonline.com. Soul is S-O-L-E. Make sure you put the online in there, and then .com. I'll have a recording of the video, I'll have Q&A, and I'll have some handouts for you too. So thank you very much for joining me tonight. It was great sharing this information with you, and I hope to see you soon. Thanks. Bye-bye.